Hey guys, Solomon Gaming or Little Yam Solaire back with another video. I just got off of work, so I might look really tired. You can barely see my eyes, but if you guys can see right here, here's the new lighting, and I got a new webcam and everything. Everything's pretty new, except my headset. I actually have a new headset, but I gotta get some cords and all that stuff. Plus, I'm getting a new PC, and I got a new microphone right here, and I got some food. But today we're gonna be watching the film theory if Shrek's donkey was secretly a human. Okay, it's a theory, but let's just go into this. I don't know what to think of it. Let me just move myself over here. I'm gonna put myself. Yeah, that's good. Sorry about that Windows thing, but let's get into the video. I might split this into two parts. Maybe not. Maybe I don't know. But let's go.
And now I shall awaken her with true love's kiss.
Stop right there.
Unhand me, you knave!
Unwanted kissing of sleeping women is a federal offense.
But she's my one true love. She'll only be awoken by true love's kiss.
Tell it to the judge, you creep.
Oh my
Rape.
Watch The Crown.
That's stupid.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Film Theory, the show that turns your favorite bedtime stories into nightmare fuel. Today we're diving back into the Shrek franchise because, well, honestly, I wanted to do something on an animated movie, but didn't really feel like writing
thought he
another
was-
prediction theory.
I literally thought he was gonna say anime. I was like, okay, whatever, dude.
For Frozen 2. And Shrek is, well, he's always relevant. And I've been thinking about the franchise a lot, thanks in large part to the excellent analysis videos on the channel Shay Frillis Productions, which, if you've never heard of, does awesome videos analyzing all sorts of classic animated movies, but more on
So he
his
watches
work
his
later. So what else is
Wait, let me pause this. So he watches his competition. So wait, is this just like a YouTuber, and he's on like this channel? Like, this is a film theorist video, but they get like I don't know if they just get YouTubers. He sounds like this one YouTuber that makes animated films and all that, but I actually don't know. Oh yeah, I do need a shave. Sorry, boys. But like a mustache, but yeah, I actually need a shave. But let's get back into the sorry guys.
there to say about Shrek nearly 20 years after it was first released? Well, how about we finally put a definitive solution behind the mysterious origins of its most iconic character?
Donkey.
I mean, as most of you know, the Shrek universe is chock full of fairy tale and nursery rhyme characters who, when the movie begins, are getting rounded up and turned in for a reward. All the big name fairy tale characters are there. 7 dwarves, the 3 bears, Tinkerbell, Pinocchio, a talking donkey, 3 blind mice, but in the words of Sesame Street,
But one of these things just doesn't belong here.
Oops.
a talking donkey? Have you ever really stopped to think about that? I mean, all these other fairy tale characters are super famous and easily recognizable. Even the generic characters like witches and ogres and princesses trapped in towers are tropes from countless other fairy tales. But a talking donkey? Where is
Yeah, like who would expect it? Like just thinking about that, like just processing that. Who the fuck would make a talking donkey? Don't know, but I'm actually gonna probably split this video because I know it's gonna be really long. But who would make a talking donkey? That's some originality right there. I'm not gonna lie, that's big originality. But let's keep on going. Our
he
place.
from? That, my loyal theorists, is the question that we explore today. What is the origin of Shrek's donkey? Because I think I have an answer. One that is provable beyond a reasonable doubt. And let's just say that the conclusion to this one is not giving us a happy ever after. If you search through fairy tale lore, there's really only one famous talking donkey to note. The titular character in the Brothers Grimm fairy tale, the donkey. It's not one that most people know, but basically it goes a little something like this. A rich king and queen are upset that they can't have a son, but then one day God blesses the couple and she suddenly gives birth to a donkey. She wants to kill it because, donkey baby. But the king refuses, and so the couple raise it as their son. So we have ourselves a donkey who learns to speak and have manners. He even teaches himself how to play music. And this is starting to sound a lot like our donkey from Shrek, right? He speaks English, he sings all the time, he can have decent enough table manners when he needs to, and is one of the few fairy tale characters who knows the way to Lord Farquaad's castle, suggesting a possible royal backstory.
Who knows where this Farquaad guy is?
Farquaad.
I know where he is.
Does anyone else?
That's not all. There's one really suspicious quote from the fairy tale that seems to lock this in as our donkey. Quote, "The young lordling once went out walking full of thought and came to a well. He looked into it and in the mirror clear water saw his donkey's form. He was so distressed about it that he went out into the wide world and only took with him one faithful companion. One faithful traveling companion." It's an especially weird detail for this fairy tale to include because that is all we ever hear about this other mysterious character. But using context clues, we can clearly identify this as someone who's a loner and is also comfortable traveling with a donkey. So that pretty much points to someone like Shrek, right? This is absolutely the origin story for our talking donkey, isn't it? It would be until you get to the big twist at the end of the story. You see, the donkey and his companion go to another kingdom and make friends with the king, who marries his daughter off to the donkey because, the donkey is depressed. Times were different back
sad
then, okay?
about ours.
Anyway, just as the donkey and his bride are about to...
I would not marry a fucking donkey. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? No. Dude, I feel bad for this woman.
Celebrate their marriage night. The donkey takes his skin off to reveal himself to be a real boy. The king doesn't believe it, so the next night he sneaks into his daughter's room and watches the proceedings. There's a lot of reasons you weren't told this one at story time at night, or reasons why people don't choose to adapt Grimm's fairy tales accurately. Anyway, suffice it to say, the king is impressed by what he sees. All the old people...
Impressed? Whoa, no. Okay, let's keep on going. Sorry.
And the story die, and the donkey gets himself a wife and 2 kingdoms. But you can start to see our problem as far as this theory is concerned, right? The donkey in the fairy tale isn't a real donkey. It's just a human disguised inside of a donkey's skin. But one glance at Donkey and Dragon's offspring in Shrek the Third is all the proof we need that Shrek's donkey is 100% donkey and 0% human. Those are dronkies and dongans, no doubt about it. So with Grimm's donkey out of the picture, we're back at square one, which honestly kind of sucks because that would have been the best title
That
and
would have been
thumbnail
awesome.
ever, which means a return to the drawing board. So we know Donkey is a fairy tale character, otherwise he wouldn't be getting rounded up with all the others or worth any sort of reward. So is he one just made up for the purposes of these movies, or could there be another explanation for what's really going on here? Well, 2 years ago, in a now deleted Reddit post, a user named Yeremy V proposed a different possibility, that Donkey did indeed hail from a fairy tale. In fact, one that is far more popular than Grimm's The Donkey ever was. Could Donkey be one of the kidnapped boys from Pinocchio? Is it possible that Donkey started as a human child, one stolen off of the street and shipped off to Pleasure Island, where he, like so many others before him, would transform into a donkey and eventually be sold?
Oh my gosh. I've heard of this story. Oh. I've actually heard of this story. I don't even remember. But I actually heard of this story. This is probably one of the stories I ever... Okay, that was... Excuse me, boys. But I have actually heard this story. Let's keep going on. Didn't they, like, get stolen or something, the kids, and they, like, went to the island? Well, like, let's just keep on listening to what this guy has to say.
Off into
I didn't know they'd turn into donkeys. That's crazy.
slavery. Now, admittedly, that's a pretty dark backstory for a main character in a PG-rated franchise about an ogre who farts a bunch, but it would help explain why, in a movie full of celebrity cameos from history's most iconic fairy tales, we would spend so much time with an otherwise out-of-place talking donkey. And the rationale here doesn't just boil down to throwing up our arms and saying, well, they're practically the only other fairy tale donkeys of note, so he must be one of them. The clues pointing towards a Shrek-Pinocchio crossover are...
Ogres are like onions. Ogres have layers. Onions have layers. You get it.
So let's start peeling them back. First, let's look at what few details we can actually learn about Donkey's backstory based on some of the things he says throughout the movies. He says this in Shrek the Third.
Already starting to feel nauseous from memories of wedgies and swirlies.
As Puss in Boots points out moments later, donkeys don't wear clothes. So this would suggest that Donkey was a human.
Oh my gosh, he's cracking the code. I don't know how people like research this like really good. Like, I'm confused. I'll put this a little bit. Or no, it'll
at
be
some
good.
point in his life, specifically when he was a child. How else would he have been given a wedgie? Donkeys don't wear clothes, but human children absolutely do. Or at least they're supposed to. No screaming naked babies around here. Later on.
And I'm not gonna lie, some kids in the hood don't even fucking wear underwears. They just go fucking balls out. I don't even know what's wrong with those kids, but yeah, in the hood they're just fucking broke. But let's go on.
In that same movie, Donkey and Puss swap bodies and we get ourselves this short conversation.
Where they were made in Madrid by the finest.
Oh, you'll learn to control that.
This seems to suggest that Donkey learned to talk as a donkey later in life. I mean, after all, who can remember what it's like learning to talk as a baby? If Donkey was a school-aged boy who got himself turned into a donkey on Pleasure Island, however, he would remember how hard it was to talk normally following his transformation, and how when it first happened, his normal patterns of speech started to get interrupted by uncontrollable donkey brays. And wouldn't you know it, that's not just me speculating here. It's exactly what we see happen in Pinocchio. When we watch Lampwick transform on Pleasure Island, we see two key things. One, that he is indeed able to continue speaking like a human despite being fully transformed into a donkey, and two, his normal speech starts to get interrupted with donkey noises.
Hey, you laugh like a donkey. Did that come out of me?
We got it. We got 'em, boys. We got 'em, boys. Shoot. We're gonna watch like 3 more minutes, and then I'm gonna end the video, and then I'm gonna do a part 2.
In fact, based on these scenes, we know one additional detail here. Boys who are transformed into donkeys but still able to talk fluently.
What the fuck is that? Oh my god. Scary.
Are sent back to Pleasure Island for a little bit longer until they fully lose that ability.
And what might your name be?
Alexander.
So you can talk.
Yes, sir. I want to go home to my mama.
Take him back. He can still talk.
This scene also demonstrates another key feature of how the donkeys get treated on Pleasure Island. They're allowed to keep their clothes until they're ready to be sold off to the salt mines. Here, we see a child who's gone full donkey get stripped of his clothes by the coachman and sent to the crates, whereas Alexander, our boy from earlier, is allowed to stay dressed. Now, this is important because Donkey in Shrek clearly has memories of being both a donkey and wearing clothes.
Yeah, you better run, you little punk no goodness, cause today's a little donkey dumpy draws are over.
This donkey still allowed to wear clothes detail not only opens up the possibility of him getting called Donkey Dumpy Drawers, we know that Pleasure Island is specifically full of bullies. The boys are all trapped there because they misbehave. So another half-turned child making fun of Donkey for being scared and soiling his donkey drawers? Totally within the realm of possibility here. And lastly, it probably goes without saying, but it's definitely worth pointing out, it's clearly established that both Pinocchio and Shrek share the same universe. Heck, the first time we see Donkey, he's standing behind Pinocchio in line. Could this be DreamWorks' way of slyly suggesting that the two characters are linked? Maybe, maybe not. But if nothing else, it verifies that Shrek pulls from the Pinocchio lore. So it would make perfect sense for a Pleasure Island donkey to be walking around somewhere in this world. So the Pleasure Island theory gives us a source for donkeys who wear clothes, used to be human, and have learned.
Now, oh my god. What the fuck? But now that is scary. Bro, stop fucking texting me, dude. But now this is scary right here. Now this is going to be implanted in my fucking mind. This right here. Okay, let's finish like 20 more seconds of it. What?
Learn to talk as donkeys, all of which line up with the few small details that donkeys let slip about his own past throughout these movies. But I just wish that there was something more, like one final clinching piece of evidence, something that's a little less lore-based and a little bit more, I don't know, design-based, scientific. Brain blast! I got it! Look at their species. Donkey appears to be the exact same breed of donkey.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna end it right here because we're going to 15 minutes. So part 2 will be out in a little bit. So thank you guys for watching. Watch part 2. And okay, yeah, excuse me. I'm gonna make a part 2 because I don't want this to be like 2 15-minute videos, and I need to shave. I'm probably not gonna do that. I'm just gonna. Oh my god, let's just. Okay, I'm out of here. Watch part 2.